Hello everyone, and welcome to another mock video where today we are focusing not on massive war machines or mechanized infantry troops. Today I have just a couple of normal guys that you might see walking down the street in my LEGO world. As always, if you like these builds, you can download their instructions with a full parts list over on my PayHip page. Link will be in the description and in my pinned comment. In my LEGO world, mechs are as common as cars are today, if not more so, and because there is no shortage of spare parts to choose from, it is not uncommon to see suits that have been outfitted for a specific occupation. In this case, we have a suit that is used to repair other mechs, and what is basically the mech suit equivalent of a pickup truck. Starting off with said pickup truck, what you see is pretty much what you get, save for one minor feature that we will look at later. When I started building this, my intention was to create a companion piece to go with my X-loader, which I showed off in my previous video. All I really wanted was something simple that could carry cargo for the X-loader to, you guessed it, pack up. In the end, I got something much more humanoid than I had originally intended, and also much more rustic. In fact, to me, this mech looks like it would be more at home on a farm than in a warehouse, and that being said, I am still happy with the end result. I like the feet being made from the doubled up ski pieces, and the shape of the legs being slightly different from what I usually do. But most of all, I just like the idea that there are mechs like these out in the world that really just carry stuff from one place to another. With that in mind, the most important feature for me was the pickup bed on the back. There's a tailgate that drops down for easy loading and unloading, and space for plenty of stuff. In fact, I was having some trouble coming up with a decent selection of cargo to put back there, but after cycling through a few options, I realized you really can't go wrong with an old pair of tires. The front of the mech features a roll cage to protect the pilot, and speaking of the pilot, here's a closer look at him. According to my wife, his name is Mike, and just like his mech, I feel like you get everything you need to know just by looking at him. He's got a firm handshake, he wakes up before the sunrise, and he probably has a dog. The one feature this mech does have that is not immediately obvious is the ability to slightly extend its arms. I'm not really sure what this would be used for, but if he ever needs to do that weird finger throat punch from the Matrix, I guess this will come in handy. Now, should you have a suit that has seen some wear and tear, or if you just came out second best in a recent mecha brawl, you are in luck. This is Penelope and her repair mech, which she also calls Penelope. They are happy to put you back in one piece anytime, and more than happy to send you a bill. Now, Penelope was an interesting project that actually started from a stretch of builder's block on my part. I was having trouble finding inspiration, so I asked my wife to pick any two colors for me to build with. She came back with dark pink and flame yellow, and the rest is history. Once I started working, I was actually a bit surprised how many dark pink parts were in my inventory. That being said, they were not the type of parts I usually use to build mechs, so the fun of this build really came from trying new techniques to accommodate a slightly different set of pieces. In the end, I think this caused Penelope to come out looking pretty unique compared to my other builds, and that always makes me happy. Speaking of that unique look, Penelope is very squat and has a heavy stance, which was actually inspired by a Warhammer Dreadnought, specifically a Castroferum pattern. But there is some ballerina nose art featured on the chest, so clearly someone has a sense of humor. While I did sprinkle some of the flame yellow throughout the body and legs, I saved most of it for the pair of manipulator arms mounted on Penelope's back. The arms are able to extend when in use and feature both a small claw for performing tasks too fine-tuned for the mech's regular hands, and also a plasma torch that can be used for either cutting things apart or welding them back together, depending on the intensity of the flame. The smaller Penelope gets a nice spacious cockpit to sit in while she does her work, and the windscreen protects her from any sparks or debris. I also like to imagine that it can darken its tint to protect her eyes while welding, or provide her with some heads-up schematics of whatever it is she's working on. She's also not held in with any studs, so getting her out doesn't make my fingers and soul hurt. And last but not least, here's a quick look at Penelope herself outside of Penelope. As you can see, she is mic'd up, so if she does a swear on the job, maybe she gets on ESPN. And of course, if you like these mechs and want to build them yourself, while also supporting my channel, there will be a link in my description, as well as my pinned comment, that will take you over to my PayHip page, where I have instructions for not just these, but also many, many of my other builds. And that will do it for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you really like this video, feel free to subscribe and leave a comment and tell me what you thought of these guys. I've been M1NDxBEND3R, and I will talk to you later.